Good afternoon guys and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Mid-Handicap Dave.
How are you doing?
Very good, yourself?
Oh, magnificent.
He's absolutely thrilled because his new wedges have arrived. They did arrive when I was away actually last week, so I do apologise this has not been on earlier. Dave's even kept them back. You will see by
it's not
these
a mark
wedges,
on them, Chris.
He's not even used these wedges, so absolutely brand new. So we've talked wedges, we've talked Dave's sets. Obviously, we've thought about what kind of clubs he needs, what kind of setup he's got. We've gone for the 101 tees, or Dave's gone for the 101 tees. He's splashed the cash, and now he's gone for the wedges. Again, wedges-wise, Dave, why did you go for these wedges?
They just fitted what I wanted. The look's stunning.
Yep.
And they just feel nice.
Yes,
they really do.
Dave's seen them before because again he saw the ones that I had. He did test them out. He liked the look of them. Get your head covers down, Dave.
I'm going to put them over there, Chris. I don't want to lose any.
Don't throw the head covers. That's ruined the head covers.
I know.
Unbelievable. So Dave's seen them before. He likes the look of them. It's all down to personal preference. So for me, obviously looking down at these wedges, they look different to the wedges that I use. These look very similar to the Dave's Clevelands that he used to have, and that's the first thing he said to me was very similar to the Clevelands. He loved his Clevelands.
I did.
They just got worn out.
They did. In various
Different parts of
in various parts of the club. No, the centre of the faces were decent.
As good as new in the middle. So Dave's done this for a reason. He's picked these clubs because they match in with his set, and that's what we're going to talk about now. We're going to start with the first wedge that he's got, which Dave didn't tell me about, is a 60 degree with 12 degrees of bounce. 60 degree up first, 12 degrees of bounce. We know that Dave can play this different ways. So if you're playing Parkland golf, you could have this nice and square. So you could have this set square. Dave's going to play this now where even with a 60, the dreaded 60, he can get a reasonable flight. He can still get onto the green here. He's still going to be able to play a nice shot that lands on there with a bit of check and runs out. Hopefully I'm not in the way. You can also open this now up and play a different shot. So a 60 can be used differently. So it doesn't have to be high all the time. Dave just played the one there nice and low. He can then play one just like that launches nice and high and uses a landing angle of a 60. So you have to think about where you're playing. Are you playing links golf? Are you playing Parkland golf? If you was playing links golf, 12 degrees of bounce on a firm fairway wouldn't be a winner. No. We'd have to do a lot of changes. So Dave just asked me there, he said, right, what would I have to do if I was actually playing links golf? And you'd have to either have a lot of forward shaft lean to get rid of some of that bounce angle, but if we do that, it makes it very hard to get a consistent contact. And if we can't get a consistent contact, it's not going to fill you with confidence. You're then probably going to go, well, I'll go down to a different wedge, and then, right, has that got enough bounce? Was that too much bounce? You start to get to your 7 irons and your 8 irons, you're trying to play bump and runs everywhere, but sometimes we need a little bit of loft. And if you need loft, and if you're playing links golf, look for a wedge with less bounce. You can get bounces down at 4 degrees, down at 6 degrees, and that will make a huge difference in how you can get contact and how you can get consistency. So let's have a look from 60, where is Dave gone and how does it fit? So 56 degree is up next, again with 12 degrees of bounce. And when we talk about bounce, that is the angle. If I have this here, is that angle there at the bottom of the club. So you can see how that is the bounce angle. That is what is working away. So if I was to try and get that to be level, you will see I'll have to have a lot of forward shaft lean to get a contact.
So obviously, to get rid of that bounce, you've got to lean it forward by 12 degrees.
Yeah, so we're going to take 12 degrees off there. So potentially that's de-lofting the club by 12 degrees, depending on your impact factors. We're going to take a lot off there. So that would be then down at 44. That'd be then like your pitching wedge, but we're trying to manipulate it. We're encouraging a lot of leading edge, and from there we're not going to be consistent, we're not going to be confident. So Dave's going to hit a shot here again where he's going to show that he can play this one low and he can play it running out, but he can also demonstrate if you do open a 56, not trying to prove my point, but if you open it up, you can get more than enough flight on a 56.
And also the 56 is generally going to be my wedge that I use out of a bunker.
Yeah.
Which is why, in my opinion, 12 degrees is kind of handy.
And you see your 60 as more of a specialist club?
I do, yeah.
So Dave's got a 60 because it fits in with the set, but it doesn't mean he's going to use it all the time. It's a speciality club, so it's going to be for certain shots where he needs it drastically, but he knows he's going to use this in a bunker. He knows that this is the club, and that's why he's got 12 degrees of bounce, because it is a club that he's going to probably use the most of the time. And that's a good chip, launched at the flight he exactly expected, but now we're going to show how, with a lot of bounce and an open in the club face, how Dave can get more than enough flight on a 56. And that's a fantastic shot. There proves our point. Not that Dave is a magician, but his new wedges are working a dream.
Shot maker, Chris, if you remember.
That's what you've been waiting for, isn't it, Dave?
It is.
A shot maker, and he's been waiting to use these wedges for the last 2 weeks whilst I've been away. So, we now want to go to the club that's the closest to his pitching wedge. So when you get a set of irons these days, you can see that we can get wedges that are a pitching wedge that normally with a standard set is 43 degrees. Very strong. From there, we've got a big gap if we go to a 50 or a 52, 9 degrees or 7 degrees difference. He's not going to give us those in-between shots. So if you're at 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 yards, where a lot of people struggle, where Dave wasn't sure, is it a full 56 or is it a 52 or is it a 50 or do I chip a pitching wedge? That's where we need to talk about. So the next club up is right here. 52 degrees with 10 degrees of bounce. So like we've mentioned, we don't want to be more than a 60-degree gap. This is right on that limit. So Dave's pitching wedge is 46. We've gone to 52 just because he preferred the look of it. We know that from here to Como do go to a 48. So 48 wouldn't work. Too close. They don't have a 50 at the moment in the range, as I've just checked, but I'll show that on the screen now. So this fits right. We don't want a 48, that's too close. A 52 is right on the limit, but we know Dave's pitching wedge is a little bit more playable than his DCB.
Yeah, and if I'm honest, you know, we're talking about going to 50, 60 yards. When I'm doing those sort of shots, I prefer to just be sort of waist height rather than trying to hit a full shot.
Yeah, and that's where obviously Dave can still use his pitching wedge, or he's now got the option of the 52. The DCB Callaway iron was down at 44 or 43 degrees, very strong. So when Dave tried to play those shots, it came out low, it came out direct, so direction was never a problem, but it landed and it ran on 20 yards. No good. From a 60-yard shot, Dave was over the green playing a tough, tricky shot, and that's why we're not at single figures yet. So Dave, we're going to go to the back flag here. We're going to demonstrate how, with these clubs, again, depending on your setup, we can play a mid trajectory or a low trajectory, and then we can play a high. So even with 52, we can open this club face up and play a mid trajectory shot. So there's Dave's mid trajectory shot, landed halfway, ran out exactly how he wanted. He's not had to go to a bigger motion. A lot of people there would go 56 or 60, Dave, wouldn't they?
They would, yeah, but why? Why?
Exactly.
When,
why?
You know, okay, a lot of loft is good at times, but I think you need a lot of help with him as well. You know,
you need a lot of time and you need a lot of precision to get those right every time. So now Dave's going to open this one up and show how we can play to the same flag, but we can go with a different trajectory. And this is where Dave's become a lot more versatile with these clubs, but also he's using this club, or he will be using this club, a lot more than he thought. And that's a great shot there for Dave. A little bit of spin and not ran out too far. So guys, that is Dave's new setup, and this is how you need to think about your wedges. You need to think about what is your pitching wedge as part of your set. What clubs then do you need? We never want to see more than a 60-degree gap. A 60 is an option, you can have that in there. We saw with Dave, he can play a low one. There's a little bit of a rise to this. It's a perfect club for that shot. And it's not going to be used a lot.
No, but if you end up with a little chip and you've got a bunker right in front of you to a short-sided, which I know you'll say, well, you shouldn't be there anyway. You should be missing on the long side, but you know, I'm not as good as you, so that's sometimes where I end up, especially if it's on the left-hand side.
Yeah, and that's it. And Dave knows that his 56 is going to be the club he uses the most. That's why he's got plenty of bounce. He knows he plays parkland courses mainly. We're going to show you in the summer series of how, although it feels like summer today, is how different wedges would suit and why they would suit. We're going to take these wedges, we're going to take some different wedges to show you the comparison, but they have to match in your set. They have to give you confidence, and one big thing for Dave and for Yorkshire is price. So $89 to $99. So depending if you buy the set of these, you can obviously, if you buy the full set to match with your clubs, Dave said that's going to save you a bit of money.
An absolute bargain.
Which Dave did to save some money. So coming in half price, nearly half price of the Vokeys. We're going to be testing in the coming weeks of how they compare. So we're going to get TrackMan out, we're going to hit some shots onto that green over there and show you what numbers get. What spin numbers do we get compared to these with some new Vokeys? What kind of launch angles are we getting? Are they launching higher or are they not? And basically for the price, like we've shown with the irons, are they pretty good for the value for money?
I think so.
Dave always thinks so. He's saved money. Mrs. Harrison thinks so as well. So on that note, we shall see you again later in the week.
See you soon.